Today we're going to take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus from the perspective of an everyday user. And I have to tell you, it's pretty nice. Starting off with the design, this is a good looking phone. I mean, I think most people aren't buying a new phone just for the specs, and the way that the phone looks does have an impact on their everyday user experience. The S21 Plus is thin, it's sleek, and it's got a really nice flat display, so it's easier to apply a screen protector. I got mine in Phantom Black, and you can see that there's this really nice matte black finish on the polycarbonate back, which has a super nice feel to it, and it also comes in Phantom Violet, Silver, Gold, and Red. I'll get to the camera functionality in a minute because there's a lot to talk about there, but in terms of design, I really like how the entire module is raised a little bit, and it sort of just melts right into the side. Now, one thing that I noticed in terms of handling, and it kind of bothered me at the beginning, but there's a very noticeable edge between the back and the side, and then there's another one between the side and the display itself. And it's right at the spot where you're holding the phone. And when I compared it to something like the iPhone XS, at the beginning I didn't really like it because, again, it kind of just like hits your finger. It's not sharp, but you can definitely notice it. But then after a while, I actually started to appreciate the extra grip that it provides. The XS wouldn't last one day with me without a case and a screen protector. And I can actually see using the S21 Plus without one. I wouldn't, but I think I could. Now let's talk about the display, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a 6.7-inch display, which is just 0.1 inches smaller than the S21 Ultra, and it's a full HD dynamic AMOLED 2X display. We've got an Infinity O design with the minimized bezels and the punch hole for the front-facing camera. And before I move on, I want to talk about this all punch hole camera. I actually like how it looks, and I think it provides a very immersive viewing experience when you're watching content. The display itself is bright, it's crisp, the image looks fantastic, and it's great for watching movies, especially when you couple it with the stereo speakers and when you enable Dolby Atmos. Now, Samsung used Gorilla Glass Victus for this display, which is supposed to be both more durable against drops and more scratch resistant. And I'm the worst person I know when it comes to handling a phone. I've scratched, dropped, cracked, broken, and shattered pretty much every phone that I've had. So now I always use a case and a screen protector, unless I'm using the device for the video. But if you're more careful and attentive with your phone than I am, it's much more likely that you can keep it in good shape with this stronger and more durable glass. Now, the display itself has an adaptive refresh rate of up to 120 Hz. So when you're just using the UI, you're getting a very smooth experience. The animations look great, scrolling is fluid, and everything looks and feels responsive. Now, the adaptive range is between 48 and 120 Hz, so it's not quite as efficient as the 10 to 120 Hz on the Ultra, but you're still able to conserve a good amount of battery life. Now, we're getting a maximum brightness of 1300 nits, which is super bright, and I had no issues using this outside, even in bright daylight. If you've gotten value from this video so far, give it a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of content you like so that I can make more of it. And I still see that over 90% of you are new viewers, so hit that subscribe button. Moving on, let's talk about the cameras. And Samsung packed a lot into their middle of the road model, or what I like to call just right. We're getting triple rear-facing cameras with a 12 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide for when you want to capture more of the scene. Now, next we have a 12 megapixel f1.8 primary camera with OIS, so that's going to let more light in for better low light performance, and the optical image stabilization is going to keep the footage nice and smooth. Now, speaking of video, the S21 Plus can shoot at all the way up to 8K at 24 frames per second and 4K at 60 frames per second. Now, finally, we have a 64 megapixel f2.8 telephoto lens, which again has optical image stabilization, which is nice to have when you're using that 3x optical zoom, or all the way to 30x space zoom, which is a combination of optical zoom and resolution zoom. The three cameras cover a very wide focal range, and they give you the ability to capture different types of shots. Now, moving on to the selfie camera, we're getting a 10 megapixel f2.2 camera, which is plenty good for selfies and for video calls. I don't want to get too deep into the cameras because I'll do that in another video, but I do have to tell you about Director's View because it's amazing. Basically what it does is give you an interface where you can see the views from all three rear-facing cameras, and then you can record video continuously while switching between the three cameras. So if you're talking about something that's far away, you can just switch to telephoto, or if you want an establishing shot, you can just go to the ultra wide and then back to the primary. You can also use picture-in-picture with the front-facing camera, so you can record yourself
and what the rear-facing cameras see at the same time. You can even switch between them so that now you're the primary, you're the big picture, and the picture-in-picture is what the front-facing camera sees. You can also drag the PIP window around to just the right spot, and I think I'm gonna start using this for TikTok. Yeah, that's right. I have a TikTok, and I'm gonna start posting on it, so you should follow me at TechGearTalk. You should. Next, I'm gonna quickly talk about performance. And this version has the Exynos 2100 with 8 GB of RAM, and Samsung only offers the S21 Plus with 128 or 256 gigs. There's also no micro SD card slot, which is a little disappointing, again, because there's no 512 gig version. So if you need that much storage, you'll have to bump up to the S21 Ultra, where you'll also get more RAM. Now, as far as the speed of the storage, there's absolutely no complaints. This thing just flies. Again, I just wish that there was either a 512 option on the S21 Plus or a micro SD card slot so that I could expand the internal storage myself. Now, as far as software, we're getting Android 11 and One UI 3.1. There have been a lot of upgrades, and I'm already working on several videos. In general, I find it to be very easy to use. I love the fact that I can use it horizontally, and it's almost like having a little mini Tab S7 Plus. I did run into a few glitches at the beginning where apps would just relaunch on me, but I haven't experienced that since, so I'm not sure if that's something that Samsung updated. I'll also publish a longer term review to let you know how this thing holds up. Now, as far as multitasking, the S21 Plus has split view, so you can have two apps either stacked in portrait mode or side by side in landscape mode. Now, sometimes I'm replying to a text or an email and I want to reference something that I'm looking at in Chrome, and it's great to be able to have both apps side by side. You can also use the S21 Plus to drive an entire DeX setup, just like I did with the Tab S7 Plus, and I'll be publishing a complete video about that very soon. And moving on to biometric authentication, the S21 Plus has face recognition, which was super easy to set up and has worked well for me even when my phone is on my desk, which is almost 2 feet or 61 centimeters away from me. We're also getting the newer Gen 2 Qualcomm 3D Sonic fingerprint sensor, which is 77% larger, 50% faster, and captures 1.7 times more biometric data. Both face recognition and the in-display fingerprint sensor have worked great for me. They're fast, they're accurate, and I haven't run into any issues so far. Now, I definitely activated gestures and got rid of the navigation menu at the bottom, and I think it provides a better user experience. Now, looking at battery life and charging, we're getting a 4800 mAh battery, and Samsung reports about 9.5 hours of battery life. We've got 25 watt fast charging with the USB-C, and I love how fast this thing charges back to 100%. I also really like the fact that it shows you how long it'll take before it's at 100%. Now, for wireless charging, we're looking at a maximum of 15 watts, and we also have wireless power share where we can use the S21 Plus to wirelessly charge another device. So for example, if you have Galaxy Buds Pro or Live, you could just enable wireless power share and then place them on the back of the S21 Plus and they will charge. Now, my actual screen time was somewhere between 6.5 and 7 hours. And of course, that depends on a variety of things like how bright you have the screen and what tasks you're actually performing on your phone. So, your mileage may vary. Now, overall, I was happy with the battery life, and it was one of the reasons why I chose the S21 Plus over the S21. Now, it's not quite the 500 mAh you get with the Ultra, but it is 20% more than the base model. I really like the S21 Plus, and I think it's right in the sweet spot where it offers enough advantages over the S21, and you're getting some of the benefits of the Ultra without having to spend all that money. I'm not sure that I would upgrade if I had an S20 Plus because you're actually giving up some features, but if you're using an older phone and you want a new device at a great value, I would definitely look at the S21 Plus. I have links in the description to the products I talked about. Hopefully this video was helpful. Click on my face to subscribe and then watch one of these videos. You know what I always say? Buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.